Test, test.
Test, test.
Test.
Griveth, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, lasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Griveth. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Griveth, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the Cursed Ash Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous role tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandish Gilhelm of Bluehammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Griveth are not heroes. In Griveth it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on DriveThruRPG.com.
Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by and for checking out this particular video. And for my usual followers and subscribers, thank you as well for taking your time today to see what's going on. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, you may not know that I've become a part of a group called the MUFFINS, and this is something that sort of developed all on its own. It involves myself and 2 other women. We have Eris from Eris Designs, as well as Kelly the Opera Geek. And basically, we just kind of get up to some crazy antics on Twitter with each other as well as our followers. If you're on Twitter and you have an account, just use the hashtag TerraMuffins and you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyways, these 2 women have become very good friends of mine, and we have been enjoying each other's company and just chatting with each other on a daily basis. Now, because of the camaraderie that we've developed and the fun we've been having with other people, Capri Creations took it upon himself to create this really cool design, which I'm going to show you right over here. And this is the design that has sort of started this whole thing that's going to be happening. I'm going to explain in a minute. But he was kind enough to create this for us, and he gave us clearance to use it for whatever we'd like to. However, none of us felt comfortable using it as a for-profit, for ourselves type of thing. That's where the idea came to me, where maybe we could do something that's more fundraiser based with it. And to get started, I wanted to go with a cause that is something that is rather close to home. I'm coming upon the 3-year anniversary of losing a close friend to domestic violence. Because of that, I thought it'd be appropriate that we use this particular design and the merchandise that we're offering for it as a means to raise funds to donate to a local charity in my area that helps women who have experienced domestic violence and are trying to get out and trying to improve their lives. So what we thought we'd do is share this with everyone, and from now through the month of October, all sales, the profits are going to be donated to this particular charity. I'm going to have all the information down in the link below so that for those who want to do the research can do the research and decide if this is a facility you feel you'd like to back as well. I completely respect it and I understand that you want to know where your money is going. I do the same thing. But if you would like to help us with this particular cause and support the awareness for domestic violence, please check out all the links down below. It has everything you'll need in there. If you have any questions, you can always find us on Twitter. I'll have all of our ats in the description as well. You can also email me at thecraftingmuse.email@gmail.com. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to watch this. I very much appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and please consider getting yourself some Terra Muffin merchandise, and it's all for a good cause. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Sunless Citadel, Episode 6, Dungeon Dragon. We are returning once again to our usual Thursday night hangout with these crafty individuals. And boy, howdy do we need this game tonight. It's been one hell of a week. It's just been one of those weeks where you know you want to play some D&D, you need some dice therapy, and I know I certainly do. So it just warms my heart to be sitting in front of the virtual table, around the virtual table, with the four of you, and all of you joining us in the audience already, and those that are going to join along the way. We're already seeing a lot of amazing friends in the chat already. Yeah, it's I know I'm just going to do a quick update on this because I know I've posted about it on social media over the last couple days. One of the reasons why I need this game is I've been having a weird issue with my eye. So if I can't quite keep up with the chat, or I throw some weird typos in the chat, I blame it on poor vision. It's getting better. But I've had some weird blurriness in my eye that nobody can seem to figure out what the heck's causing it. Maybe it's stress related. I don't know. But there's no pain or anything like that. And I can sure as heck close my eye and take a good close look at what these dice are rolling. So you guys aren't going to get off so easy on taking advantage of my visual impairment tonight. I do want to, real quick, a couple of housekeeping things before we introduce these amazing players and get back into the game. For those of you that don't know or are new to the channel, or even those that are here, as a reminder, here in the middle, I'm pointing at my screen like you can see my finger, but just below me, right down here, is our handy-dandy domain dice interface. The players are already sitting on 13, and actually I'm going to bump that up to 14 because Megan is doing a little bit of insider trading and has gifted a sub in the Twitch chat, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. So somebody in the chat got a gifted sub, and you guys get a domain die out of it. I think it did go to V, which means you weren't already subbed to the channel. So or it stacks. I don't know how that works. That's over on the Twitch side. But the way domain dice work is for each domain die, at any time the players can choose to re-roll. You spend a domain die and re-roll a d20, or they can force me to re-roll a d20. We're having a lot of fun with that, and with a resounding boom in the chat, the man, the myth, the legend, Ooh, chameleon fam. Ooh, I added some intensity this time. Has dropped $10, buying you another 2. So I'm gonna do a little bit of math here. We're gonna do this. Take them all away for a minute. Plus 15 and 1. So you're at 16 domain dice going into this game. Thank you, Superfan Chameleon Fam. We love and appreciate you. Also, I'm only going to plug this the one time at the beginning and at the end, but I did just launch at the beginning of the week the official Me Terrain Domain Patreon. There's a lot of levels in the Patreon. There's 4 levels. You can become an MTD apprentice, an MTD journey level, an MTD master, or the Mythed level. Each one has some unique benefits, but everybody who comes in at the lowest level will get the new weekly vlog/blog. And the first one is up on the link that I just dropped in both chats. It is free to everyone, so you can kind of take a look around and see if it's something you think you want to be a part of. Your patronage helps the channel to grow. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm really eager to get back into playing this game and using our time as wisely as we can. So I'm gonna start over here. Let's see. Nope, here with V, and just tell us who you are, where we can find you, who you're playing.
Okay, I am V. I am in the land of very stressed. No, I'm kidding. No, I've been playing the shuffle the stuff from one fridge to the other game this evening. That was fun. But normally, when I'm not stressed, I'm V. I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse. That's where you can see me make different tutorials for terrain and scatter. I also do live streams for painting minis. You can find me also over on YouTube and on Twitter. And yes, I put the link in for the t-shirt for the fundraiser as well if you want to check that out. All proceeds are going to a local women's shelter in my area, very reputable. And it's going to be going through the month of October because October is awareness for domestic violence throughout the nation. So it's for a very good cause if you would like to participate. And Megan has one on right now if you want to take a quick
Megan's
look.
modeling the shirt.
Nice.
I normally wear mine. Mine's in the wash. I've been wearing it so much.
We have a lovely model tonight. So yes, that's it from me.
All right, Jeremy.
Everybody, my name is Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, The Erasmus Expeditions, where I do live plays and have some crafting videos, as well as talk about RPGs and the such. I am also 1/3 of the Dudes of Yore podcast with my buddies Jeff Doty and Chad Nick. You can also find us on YouTube. Go check us out. Tonight, I am going to be reprising the very unlucky, super apparently internally rageful Talmud, the Dwarven Barbarian. I'm having a ton of fun with this character and with this group, and I cannot wait to get back into it.
All right, next up would be Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan, and when I am not here, which is very rare, I am on the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, which I am half of the YouTube channel. We also are a publishing company, and we released that book that from that promo, which was really really nice. So that it pretty much explains everything more than I could ever explain. So go check that out if you want. And tonight I will be playing Vi, who is right now cowering in a corner. So we'll see how that goes. I'm very excited to play.
And last but certainly not least is Mr. Scotty.
Hey everybody, I'm DM Scotty, the DMsCraft. I use my long hair for super crafting powers, and I am doing this thing. Just want to say real quick, I'm doing this thing where I'm doing a one-shot Halloween build. So I'm going to have a video coming out soon. Check that out. I did the introduction for it. I have the video for the introduction, but I'm doing the build. I'm doing it super cheap and super easy. So I want you guys to check it out because it's gonna be fantastic. Yeah, I'm trying to do it so that anybody and everybody could make this build. You don't need a lot of stuff. You don't need a lot of craft materials and that kind of stuff. And it's a super cool thing. It's basically like an escape room death trap dungeon, right? And then there's a
Nice.
killer in there named Aqualung who is after you also. So as the dungeon slowly fills up with water. So yeah, so you got to get out of here before the thing fills up, before Aqualung kills you, or one of the deadly traps in there gets you. So yeah, pretty awesome. So make sure you check that out. And oh yes, back to the game. I am Griveth, the paladin, and he's been having a few issues. He did a Leroy Jenkins last game and ran in the next room. Uh, he's a little overcome by the power from his god, and so he's trying to deal with that. So we're going to continue that, and we're right in the middle. Like we said, we're right in the middle of something. We're dealing with this hobgoblin, and all these goblins came in. So let's hit it, Jake.
All right, so quick recap from the town of Oakhurst. These individuals had all taken on essentially two quests. The first being to figure out why the goblins send an emissary to the town every year to sell a unique magical apple that has healing properties, but only one apple. The other part is that the merchant leader and sort of true ruler of Oakhurst over the actual mayor of the town, a merchant by the name of Kirwin Hukreely, she had tasked the adventurers with finding her missing children, adult children who had gone adventuring and had been gone for a couple months. They were Talgan Hukreely and Sharwin Hukreely. They descended down into a gorge where the ancient castle or citadel had collapsed so long ago. After Talmud was with his keen steps, was very quick to identify several traps and so kind as to set them off for the party and take the damage himself. They began adventuring into the citadel proper, where they ran into some kobolds. They ran into a adorable but meek kobold by the name of Meepo, who took them to his leader, who then tasked the party with taking Meepo with them to try to find their stolen dragon wormling, Calstrix. So they've taken on a third sort of side quest, and they journeyed into goblin territory, had some encounters with some giant rats, some poison gas, eventually made their way into true goblin territory, where Griveth began struggling with the power bestowed upon him by the gods, or by his god specifically, and did in fact go Leroy Jenkins, running headlong into the fray, where several goblins were, to be fair, it was triggered by the discovery of several barrels of elf pudding, which is a pudding made from elves, that the goblins had in their stores. And at the end of the last session, there was quite a battle taking place with several goblins in the area. And then a couple rounds in, a bugbear ran in, but they were no match for this party. Even Meepo jumped in on the action, slaughtering goblins, as Griveth had the bugbear pinned up against one of the dragon-inscribed pillars in this room, filled with a haze from the sputtering torches. Griveth holds this bugbear against the pillar. Cantriel has actually taken some shots at this bugbear. He is leaking blood onto the stone floor. And then over his shoulder, both Griveth and Cantriel catch a glimpse into a room to the north that the bugbear ran out of. And they spot several hastily taxidermied animal head trophies on the walls, broken furniture everywhere, and peering over an overturned table, they just see the white scaled head of a white dragon wormling. And that is where we are going to pick it up right now, as the bugbear strains against you, Griveth.
Why are you doing this? Why? For what reason do you come in here and kill us?
Unmute.
I can't hear you.
Griveth must unmute first. Hold on.
You speak too softly, human.
We seek our friends. They are lost in here. Do you know of them? Do you know them?
This is how you look for friends, with your swords and your arrows and your fists.
I admit it was not the most diplomatic way to approach you. But your people have attacked us several times through this dungeon, and we were upset.
You bring one of them with you.
And he lifts, in pain, he lifts an arm and he's pointing at Meepo, who is still standing with bloody dagger over the very bloody and perforated corpse of a goblin. Blood dripping from his dagger. Meepo just looks up and kind of says, "I'm bad luck."
He's the Michael Myers of...
You bring that filthy creature into our territory. What do you expect us to do? If this is how you've been making your way through the chambers, then of course the goblins have attacked you.
Talmud starts turning towards him and begins charging across the floor with Gerta raised. You're going to die, you sick son of a bitch! And your damn purple nose! I'll shove it where the sun don't shine!
I don't know what just happened. Megan
So
and Jeremy just swapped
ran across
places.
I told you, I was running out the...
Or V, I'm sorry. Well, I just ran across the room.
Megan and Jeremy, turn your cameras off real quick. Never mind. Megan, leave yours on. Jeremy, turn yours back on. You're good. So, Griveth Talmud is now charging across the room toward where you are, Griveth. And remind me, Cantriel, when you attacked the bugbear, did you do it at ranged or did you run up on him?
I poked him with my rapier.
That's right. You got him with your rapier.
Yeah.
So, Griveth, you can hear him screaming, cussing, and charging up behind you. What are you going to do?
I maintain my hold on the leader, but I throw myself in the way of Talmud. I say, Talmud, he is my prisoner.
And I'm going to bash his fucking face in.
Bring it down. Bring it down. He's like, he kind of motions you with his head, not his hand. His head to kind of bring Gerta down.
He kind of looks confused for a moment, then
he has surrendered to us.
Then Talmud's face changes. Oh,
Sorry.
Griveth. Forgive me. Did I miss something important?
Ping! A sling bullet bounces off of the bugbear's head As Talmud was charging, taking his cue as he always does, Meepo began swinging his sling around, and rolled a dirty 20 to hit.
Oh,
The stone flies right between Cantriel and Griveth over Talmud's head, striking the bugbear right in the forehead.
This is why we kill them.
And he spits bloodily at your feet.
What is your war with the? Oh shoot!
Kobolds.
You were unmuted and then muted yourself, Scotty. We could hear you. That was a new tactic.
Sorry.
Oh no, they can hear me.
I am
Dakota
muted, I
silence.
am muted challenged. Okay. Okay. So I look at the bugbear and I say, "What is your war with these beings, with these kobolds?"
They are like vermin infesting these halls.
Who was here first, you or the kobolds?
The dwarves.
No, I mean later.
What difference does it make, human? You'll kill us. They'll kill us. We'll kill them.
I have.
And
yes.
more will move back in. You'll never survive his wrath.
Give us our friends, and we shall leave. You shall be done with us. You know you cannot defeat us in combat.
Who are your friends?
Who are they?
Talgrin and Sharwin, I think were their
Yes.
names. Is that who you're
I
talking
say-
about?
Yeah, I say that.
We can't keep straight all your human names.
I
But
can-
yes, there were humans that came through here.
Do you know where they are? Tell us, and we shall leave your realm. Leave you to your stinking war.
I tell you where they are. And you slaughter the rest of our goblin kin.
We will hurt no one else if you give us safe passage and show us our friends. I'm speaking for you, Talman.
Do you speak for all of them?
I do.
Aye.
Roll me a persuasion.
Okay. Make sure my bonus here. Sorry. Oh, okay. 14.
You don't leave me much of a choice. You're going to want to watch that one there.
As he kind of indicates with his bloody chin with a kind of head nod over towards Meepo.
I can't guarantee the others won't attack on sight.
What? Why do you have the dragon?
Why should they have such an incredible creature?
Do you worship the dragon?
We are not so foolish as to worship anything so trivial.
Can we have the dragon?
That is not for me to say.
You say you are not the leader?
I am Bernol, the Dragon Keeper. I have been caring for it in ways that these filthy kobolds cannot. But no, I am not the leader.
Uh, okay, so basically, I turned to the party. It's like, do we want to tie him up and talk about this?
Well, it might help to know that they don't exactly expect to have Meepo come back with us.
Because we can't really talk in front of him.
What was that?
Nothing, darling.
Anybody want to pull the rope out and start tying him up?
So we're tying him up?
Yeah, we'll tie him up.
He was not
Okay.
going to get away if we just blow out his kneecaps with my hammer.
My insides are leaking onto the floor. You have
Yes, you're
pierced
quite a
me,
mess.
broken me. You surround me. I'm not
as a
going
s-
anywhere.
As a sign of good faith, we will help you.
How do you care for the dragon?
So I look at Vi. Is she willing to? Do I see that she's willing to do that?
Vi is sitting on the floor back against the wall. She has stopped her cowering, but she looks just very dazed. She just nods. And without a word, would take a few of these poultices and eyes down would approach the bugbear. If you don't mind. And she would begin to tend to the bugbear using healer's kit.
See, we keep our promises.
And
You are very strange humans indeed.
How do you care differently for the dragon? What makes you better than the kobolds? How do we know you're not going to treat it any worse than they?
You can see it. There. In the room.
I see a wee
large
little dragon
room.
cowering behind things. How is that better?
Do you see any iron bars around it?
I see a creature in a room.
That room is at least 10 times the size of the cage from which we freed it.
Why do you keep it there?
It's a dragon. We can't let it run freely.
And why not?
It is wild and untamed.
Precisely. Wild, untamed. Something that should be out and about in the sunshine, not trapped down here. I've been dealing with Frick and Frack losing their minds. She's barely getting over things. I have Meepo shooting things behind me. And you're telling me you're keeping this dragon nice and safe and sound? Tell me how you're any better than these. There's bloods on everybody's knives at this point.
We can train this dragon.
Roll me an intimidation check, Cantriel.
Okay. Oh, where'd that go?
She's a
And
wee
that's
bit
going
wound
to
up.
be, you think? That's going to be a 20. Not dirty, not natural, but a 20.
You should calm yourself, Elf.
I'll calm myself when I feel that things are better under control here. And when I feel that what you're saying is worth hearing. You're telling us that we come upon you attacking, yet we've been attacked just as well, and you've been keeping this poor wee thing trapped in a room.
I have been attempting to train it. I freed it from its cage. Once it has learned some basic discipline, then perhaps we thought to take it out into the open air.
You don't plan to keep it here then?
Eventually it's going to grow too big for this region, for these rooms and these halls.
Finally, someone with some common sense. Unfortunately, I overheard a little someone mentioning something about our friend here. And yes, he's our friend. Kobold he may be, but he is our friend. And unfortunately, it seems like they're not exactly looking forward to having him come back with us and the dragon. So as far as I'm concerned, you take better care of this dragon than they ever would. Give us back the humans we seek, and we will leave your kind be.
Roll me another. I'll let you decide if you're being more persuasive or intimidating.
Well, she's equally both, so we'll see. 13.
The decisions you ask for, I cannot make. I will take you. I will take you to Dern. He will have to be convinced.
I can be very convincing if I need be.
I can see that, elf.
And what happens exactly when Darren, is not convinced? Then what?
Perhaps pudding.
I was afraid you might say that. Are you sure that I can't just... Maybe just one need?
Think you've done enough.
What? Why would you say that? All I remember is that they started fighting with us, and then somehow we ended up with this thing.
And somehow you and Griveth both ended up losing your minds at the same time.
What do you mean?
Don't, dwarf. I've let you pass with calling me names. I understand there's a demon you're fighting, but right now...
I would never call you a name in my life. That's not the way I am, and it's not the way I was raised, honestly.
Well, then who were you 5 minutes ago?
What? I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know, you don't recall. At this point, probably our best bet right now is to go meet with this Dern.
But if we march straight into the lot of them, and then they decide to try to kill us, then what?
Then you can go into your bloody rage again and kill them all for all I care.
Well, let's just hope that maybe it doesn't come to that, because I don't know if my luck will hold out.
Well, I have rumor that you might have some luck on your side you may not realize.
That is the best use of in-character metagaming I've ever heard. You know what? I'm going to give you guys, the two of you, inspiration for that.
Ooh, fourth wall be damned.
Yep. Normally DMs punish metagaming. I'm going to reward it.
But it was so clever. It was so clever. As a military person, I tend to agree with Talmud. If he takes us in there, and then they could set us up for, the perfect setup. Do we trust them?
Well, they're going to know one way or another that we're here. So either they know that we're coming to talk to them, or they know that we're coming to attack them.
The bell's been rung.
I guess we could keep him in the front, and if he could end up being the first one to take it.
Bugbear pudding?
I suppose so, yes.
He kind of shudders at that.
Will you let me take you to Dern, then?
Do you all agree?
Aye.
As long as he's not holding a weapon, that's fine with me.
We'll be holding our weapons, Talmud.
Well, you're damn right.
And ready.
His spiked club is lying on the floor, having fallen out of his hands when Griveth slammed him up against the pillar.
Amu smashes it with Goethe.
He winces a bit. You might consider at least closing that door before we go, lest that dragon begins to run amok.
Perhaps we should talk with the dragon before we move on.
May not be a bad idea.
First you negotiate. Make alliances with the vermin
No, we're just making
kobolds.
sure everything's squared away at this point, Mr. Bugbear, sir.
And then you parlay with a bugbear. And now you think you can speak with the dragon juvenile.
Oh, actually, I can. There's some lovely runes around here with some very interesting messages, I might add.
There's not much I can do about it. He's kind of at your mercy. He can't really stop you from trying to go talk to the dragon.
She's going to walk past him, and she's flouncing at this point like she is pissed, she is tired, she's probably covered in blood. This is not the Bardley life she expected.
Why did I not name this episode How to Train Your Dragon?
That would be perfect.
I missed such an opportunity.
Not the glamorous life of a bard you were expecting, huh?
No,
So-
no, not at all.
So you're heading over to the room with the wormling in it?
Caltrixith.
And I'm going to flank her, ready to protect if need be.
All right. What are you doing with Bernal? The bugbear.
Oh,
I think Vi is going to stay and just continue to patch him up, bandage him up.
I think at some point Talmud comes over to Vi, and he has popped the seal on that Battle of Kirgan, and he's going to kind of have taken a swig, and he walks over and kind of puts it into her chest. I think you might need a little bit of this.
Vi would just flinch away from your touch and give you this very untrusting look. I'm
It's-
fine.
You may be. I've seen the kind of fine you are. I've been there myself. This is much better than any vegetable you could put in your mouth, I promise. It'll clear you what ails you.
She looks at you, she just snatches it, and she's just gonna chug it.
Did you? I'm sorry, I missed that. Did you give her the bottle of Kirgan?
With the intention of sharing. It may have been a mistake. I see.
Do you want me to roll like
I
Constitution? 'Cause you-
absolutely want a Constitution. If the dwarf had to roll a Constitution save to drink dwarven ale that's ancient, you absolutely need to. Yes.
That's a 16.
You, with your natural, with your druidic nature, you have just a affinity and just a natural ability to be able to discern certain fruits, vegetables, grains. What does this ancient dwarven dark ale taste like to Vi, the human druid, as it goes down less like a mead and more like a heavy syrup?
I think that Vi is brought back to when she was at her farm. And they would make this syrup to give to the cattle when they needed to do something with them and they didn't want them to move. They wanted them to be calm. So they'd give them a little bit of this syrup. It was very strong. It's very bitter, with a little bit of sweetness so that the cows would inevitably take it. And that's what it brings her back to. And she just lets out this kind of a growl when when she finishes drinking, and she just kind of shoves it back at Talmud.
Hey, it's good, huh?
Vi, for the next hour, you have advantage on charisma checks and disadvantage on dexterity checks. Your constitution save prevented you from hurling at the intense flavor, but yeah, you're a little bit drunk.
Yes.
You're not a lot drunk, but you're more drunk than you would normally be from a single ale. This is an ancient, powerful dwarven ale. And was that the last bottle? Or did you have one more?
Nope.
Don't tell Vi. This is just between you and I.
That's it. That's the last one.
Oh,
That's
man.
it.
So I also added a domain die to you guys. We got EverJ, Jason Smith resubscribing to the channel over on Twitch. So apparently my blind eye could catch that. So that gets you guys another domain die. All right, so Vi is drunk.
Yeah. As Vi is kind of tending, would Talmud stay where she was? Or she would...
Yeah, he's going to help you watch this bugbear. He doesn't trust him any further than he can throw him.
After a while, you hear a hiccup come from Vi. She tries and stifles it as much as she can. Why do you call me Bear Lady?
But, well, you seem like a... You seem like a mother. You know, you're protective. You hover, and it's something that in my society we equate as bears. That's what bears do. So you're a bear lady. I didn't know what else to call you, so I landed on that.
Bears are disgusting. And then she looks at the bugbear. No offense.
No, he's disgusting. Bears are noble. They're large. They're terrifying. They're strong.
They're savage. They take what they want through intimidation.
Are we still talking about the bear? Or are you trying to tell me something?
You're telling me you don't remember anything.
About what? About bears? I remember quite a lot about bears.
No, about you calling Cantriel, I believe it was a pointed-eared bitch.
What?
If that's what he said.
There's no way I would have said those words. My mother would have... No. It's just not possible.
That's something you need to get under control.
Get what under control? I admit, she's an elf, and sometimes it puts me a little at odds. But there's a long history there, and I don't really want to get into it, but I wouldn't have called her
You did.
that word.
You did call her that. You were... I've never seen... Not that I've known you for very long, but I haven't seen anything like that.
What exactly happened? Other than supposedly I said some nasty things.
It seemed as though you saw nothing but rage. You saw nothing but blood. You saw nothing but violence. And that is all you wanted to do. That is all you could think of. and you just went off.
Well, maybe what you say is true.
No, maybe. No, do not. It happened. You need to figure out what your shit is about, and you need to deal with it. Because I'm not going to be trapped down here with a couple of crazies.
Look,
who I don't know whether they're going to kill me or not.
I'm not crazy. It's not kind for you to say those kinds of things. No,
angry.
Yes, I'm angry. I harbor a lot of anger. Okay, but most of the time, I have it under control. Sometimes it's hard to explain. Sometimes sometimes something comes over me, and it's I'm not myself. I have my family has a long history of anger, and there's not really an easy way to put this. So I'm somewhat possessed by some of my ancestors' spirits. It sometimes can be a good thing, and sometimes it's not. If what you said is true, and I'm willing to concede that maybe I did the things you're saying, that was probably my Uncle Orlok. He's not exactly one of the shining gems in the crown of my clan, and I suppose that maybe you can see why.
You need to figure out how to control it, like Griveth.
I know. I'll try. I'm gonna go over here now, and I'm gonna go search these goblin bodies. If he moves, let me know so I can take out his kneecaps, please. And Talmud will walk away.
Meanwhile, kind of around this same time as all this is happening, Cantriel and Griveth approach the room with the open door, just a little bit away. Actually only about 10 or 15 feet away. At about the time you enter in to the room and are just kind of taking a look inside is where you hear this, where Vi says, "You called her a pointy-eared bitch," and Cantriel, you're like, "Is that what he called me?" And so that's where we're going to pick up for Griveth and Cantriel. As you look into this room and you see there are mounted and stuffed animal heads adorning the walls. The mounting job is pretty sloppy. And the assortment of heads is cattle, rats, and other not particularly impressive specimens. There's a few grizzly trophies sharing the wall with the animals, including a couple of kobold heads. Smashed and broken cabinets and small tables are all around the edge of the room, looking like the aftermath of some sort of rampage. In the middle of the room, looking as though it has been pounded into the very stone tiles, is an iron stake, an iron spike, that has attached to it a length of chain that's about 8 to 10 feet long, and that's broken. And you can see a few broken links of the chain scattered around. Also along the walls, the floor, and covering some of the debris, you can see thin coatings of frost. There's a notable chill in this room. What would you like to do?
I'm going to peek my head just a wee bit into the door. A wee little dragon. Might you be able to understand me? And of course, I'm speaking in Draconic.
You can speak to it.
I can speak Draconic. Question is, can it?
It's a strange tongue.
Yes, and hopefully he's going to use his to speak back to me.
I would like you to roll. Trying to decide if I want you to roll persuasion or animal handling. I want you to roll animal handling.
Okay, can I use one of my inspirations?
Well, don't you want to roll first to see if you need it?
Well, I mean, I got.
I mean,
an
you can
18,
use it if you
how's
want.
that? How's an 18? Do we need to make it better? We can make it better.
If I don't
An
like it,
18 fails. No inspiration. No.
No inspiration for you.
Sure.
Said the bard.
As you speak in this draconic tones, that they have a bit of a harshness coming out of your throat, but at the same time that Griveth and probably the others are kind of faintly hearing this, there is Cantriel's almost musical lilting tone kind of flowing along with these words. And you see from across the room a white scaled head peer again over the edge of a broken table as it rises up. Peering over the edge of the table, it's maybe about 4 feet high, as it kind of just enough for its eyes, and you just see frost, plumes of frost go out into the room. Frost coats the edge of the wood of the table, and you can kind of hear that as the dragon wormling looks and kind of cocks its head.
Well, you've learned yourself a new trick there, haven't you?
It has not spoken any words so far. It is just growling.
is it awake?
It's looking at you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you can see these bright ice blue eyes peering at you. They do that thing where they kind of blink sideways with their inner lids and then blink again.
Cantriel, do you know any dragon songs? Sing it a song.
Well, I can't say I've been exactly trained in singing to dragons, but oh, he kind of looks like a little puppy, doesn't he?
He doesn't seem aggressive.
No, not yet, at least. Oh, well, all right, we'll try this. Off the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Does he do anything? Or the wind to run?
That is 100% awesome.
Well, it's that dragon.
I want you to roll persuasion with advantage for that.
With advantage. Okay. Ooh, okay. Very cool. That is going to be a 21.
As you are singing this song, the dragon's head starts to kind of move back and forth. And it rises higher and higher until you see it rise to its full height. Its head at the end of its long neck, now brushing against the ceiling, nearly 12 feet high. You can see these. They're not leathery. They're more, they look almost like, you know what a horsefrost is? Where it's got that kind of feathery edges to it.
Yeah.
The wings have that look to them. Almost like feathers, but crystalline coated. As it just kind of and flares its wings for a moment. And then you hear just a sort of almost forlorn
Oh, you're a big sweetie, aren't you? Well, Griveth, he's not exactly little anymore.
No, he's not.
No, and clearly he's learning some new tricks and growing like a good little boy, aren't you?
is what you hear, Griveth. Cantriel, you hear it's draconic, but it has a sort of, it has a little bit of a mixture of the goblinoid accent to it. And what you hear is freedom.
And that's what I was afraid of. You need out, don't you?
Make free.
Griveth, darling, this sweet little cherub in front of us pretty much just said the word freedom. Now, I don't know about you, but he's growing a wee bit, and clearly this is not going to hold him much longer.
Are dragons inherently evil?
Well, now we're getting to the nature versus nurture debate, but, you know, he's been hatched by kobolds and he's been taken over by goblins, or I don't even know which way's up for him. I can't imagine he'd know.
Do we let this thing free to ravage and kill the countryside when it pleases, or do we end it now?
What's your name, little one? Have you a name? Did they give you a name?
It's sort of, with Griveth's tone, you see it kind of rear its head a little bit, and it kind of, and you see a flash in its eyes as it turns its head towards you, Griveth.
All right, I give it the stink eye.
I think you're not helping the matter.
I'm gonna see. All right. It's not taking any actions at the moment, but it just sort of flares at Griveth with that tone.
I'm going to turn around and face Griveth quickly, but not turn my back to the dragon, like sort of just slightly shift so it can still see both hands type of thing. Griveth, I know you're trying to help me, and I know you're trying to protect me, but right now, if we want to get more information from our friend here, I think that your louder, aggressive tones are not going to be what helps. Give me a favor and take about, I don't know, 8 steps back.
This beast is evil.
If you start pulling that crap again, I'm stabbing you with me rapier. And don't think I don't know how, because look at Mr. Bugbear back there. Now,
you're either with evil or you're against evil. There's
Talmud.
no between.
Oh, Talmud.
Look, yes, what is it?
We have a wee situation with our friend here who is decidedly fighting his inner demons.
Ooh.
If you would mind pulling him back a wee bit for me, and I will finish speaking with our new friend here. And she's like looking at the dragon and smiling this whole time, like trying to do that whole like that moms do, like, yes, darling, you're a sweet little cherub, aren't you? But when we get home, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Talmud like takes 3 steps into the door and sees the dragon for the first time. It's the first time anybody's mentioned it to him, and he just kind of stops in his tracks. Why are we not fighting?
It's towering over you, Talmud, as it sees you enter the room. You see this dragon, its head brushing the ceiling 12 feet above as it looks down at you. Another flare of frost into the room, the cold of frost coming down to you, and you see the hairs under your nose and around your mouth just sort of turn to icicles as you hear this.
Why are we not fighting here?
Because we might get some information from him. He and I were starting to have a nice chat, but then Griveth here is doing some interesting talky, ranty.
Information? Has anyone ever told you before that you are incredibly strange?
Well, I'm not exactly from around here, am I?
Talmud, tell her our way is crystal clear.
This is the issue. Please. I've gotten the word out of our new friend here. I might get a little bit more to help us better make decisions here. Besides, it may not hurt to have a dragon helping us get out of here.
You hear, Cantriel, you hear suddenly from the dragon in Draconic a quick phrase, but it translates to, I will eat you. As Griveth, give me a perception check. Actually, Cantriel and Griveth, give me perception checks.
Okay. 16.
I want to use a domain die.
Which you just earned another one because I can't read the name because of my eye problem, but it's a something 1974 subscribed on Twitch. So you did earn another one, so now you're back down to 17 with that one.
All right. I got a 16 that time.
Griveth and Cantriel, you both see Meepo the Kobold, who always is on Talmud's coattails.
Oh boy.
Just peering around Talmud suddenly. And as he peers around, Calstrix is immediately agitated.
Mm-hmm.
Says, Calstrix, this I will kill you. And you all hear as Calstrix goes. And I'm going to have you guys roll for initiative. Go, Vi, you're in the other room, but go ahead and roll. I was just thinking how wise it was that you guys left Talmud outside with Meeple following him around, and then Talmud comes charging into the room. Oh my gosh. I could not have planned that better.
No.
All right, so this is, I need like a large whiteboard with the way my eye is right now. Okay, hold on. I need to roll for Meepo. All right, what you got, Griveth?
16.
Cantriel.
10.
10.
10.
Vi.
11.
Talmud.
Got a 12.
Let's see. Oh, it's right here in front of me. I have a couple things here. So that is. And let's just see how Calstrix does. Okay, the batting order is going to be something goes first. I'll do that there. Griveth, you're going to be second. Sorry, incorrect.
If the dragon goes first, can we have him re-roll?
It's actually not the dragon that's first.
Okay, never mind.
So it's actually there's one other entity there with you. If you would like to have Bernal re-roll his initiative with the domain die, I will do that because he's going first in the initiative order.
What do you guys think?
Why the hell not?
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, this one sticks out of the tray, so re-roll. All right, so that's going to be instead of that. All right, here is the order. Let me turn toward the mic so you can actually hear me. The order is going to be Talmud. Or sorry, I don't know why I said your name. It's actually weirdly, it's Meepo that's going first. Then Griveth is second, followed by Calstrix. And then, this is hard. One eye not working right. Talmud, you are fourth. Vi, you are fifth. Cantriel, you are sixth. And Bernal is now last. So, let me just see how. Whoops. I'm gonna see how Meepo does here. Ooh. Meepo is gonna use his action to pee on the floor. He critically failed in his wisdom check there to see what he did as the dragon towers over him. So it is going to be Griveth's turn.
All right. Griveth has heard of the fearsome power of the dragon's breath, and I don't want to end up frozen here, stuck to my friends. So we're gonna kind of make I want to kind of make a tactical retreat. But what I want to do is kind of force my friends through the door, like push them back through around the edges so that we're kind of, there's the door and we're kind of on the outside of the door, but around, not in the line of sight kind of thing. Can I do that?
So you're going to try to shepherd your friends?
Push them out, use my considerable bulk to push them out of the way, kind of push them to each side of the door.
I'm going to say, in order to do that, because you're basically trying to herd these people, that one, Talmud and Cantriel, are you going to be willing, as he's trying to basically push you back with his shield and his arms, as he's trying to forcefully push you guys back? And two, you're only going to be able to move half your distance, which will basically just get you to the door.
To the other side of the door?
Yeah, just to the outside of the doorway. So Talmud and Cantriel, it's up to you if you're going to resist him or not.
I think at this point, seeing the dragon take a breath in,
knowing what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making it very obvious what I'm doing.
Talmud?
Yeah, Talmud was actually kind of headed to the door anyways, 'cause he was actually going to throw himself in between the dragon and Meepo.
All right. Griveth, you are successful in driving everybody through the door. Meepo just kind of gets pushed backward, scrambling. And you're able to push Meepo, Cantriel, and Talmud out through the door. By this point, Vi, you can hear the growling coming from the other room and see everybody coming through as Griveth is now standing there. And were you like facing them as you pushed them out, or were you kind of backing up and doing it this way?
I was kind of facing them, but when I get outside the door, I want to orient towards the door.
Okay.
Like twist towards the door.
Okay, I will allow that.
Was that my action, or do I still have an action?
Because they did not resist you, it did not use an action. If they resisted you, you would have had to use an action to strength contest them. So I will say that's just your movement.
Okay, awesome, thanks. Okay. So Griveth is kind of coming back to his senses from his rage, and he's kind of realizing what he may. I mean, it may be not all his fault, but he is some to blame in this, right? He did anger this dragon, so he kind of comes back to his senses. Yeah, and he sets his mind on, okay, I'm gonna let this power in. I'm gonna let this power in me. It's not gonna control me again. I'm not gonna let it control me. So he's letting Eldath in, but he's trying to let in the power of Eldath to help his friends change reality, mold space, allow his friends to have luck when they need it. And so I'm going to cast Bless, and my 3 friends will now be blessed. So
Excellent.
you can roll a d4 and add it to any of your rolls.
All right.
Okay.
Calstrix
Stand ready.
pushes forward, smashing through the table that was previously standing before you. You hear a scattering of metallic objects skittering across the floor as the dragon lurches forward. And then a ridiculous cold air spreads out into the room directly at you, Griveth, and around through to everybody else. So I'm actually going to give Talmud, Cantriel, and Meepo advantage on their saving throw, because Griveth, you've more or less interposed yourself, and Griveth, you're going to just take a straight dexterity saving throw, or excuse me, Constitution saving throw. And Talmud, actually, Vi, since you're kind of out of this for the moment, why don't you go ahead and roll me Meepo's con save?
I got a 22.
Got a 7 on a straight roll.
Maybe you should use a die.
Sorry.
For Meepo?
Yes.
That was for
Yeah.
Meepo save? You're going to...
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
No. Forget. Yeah,
The,
forget
the
it.
fans
Oh.
love me, folks.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah. He's the
What
only
does that
reason-
mean?
He'll be a Meepo sickle.
How'd
He's
you-
a meatball.
How'd you do, Talmud?
Got a 16.
Griveth, what's your save?
I want to use a domain die.
Is everybody using their bless that Talmud gave you? That's a one and done, isn't it?
You can use it whenever you want, up to 1 minute. Like you can
Oh,
use
okay.
it for any roll.
So you do get to roll a d4 and add it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you roll and you're like, oh, I don't like to roll a
Did
d4
you-
and then roll to it.
Did you bless Meepo?
No, there's not enough blessings for him, so he's unblessed.
Wow. Grimmett throwing shade over there.
All right, I'm
All right,
re-rolling.
you guys are down to 15 remaining.
I got a 15.
All right, everybody but Meepo has saved. So I'm going to roll the damage real quick, which I guess I could have been doing while you were doing that, but I want you to hear all these dice I'm rolling. It's not too bad so far. And 2 more. 7. Oh, that's not too bad. 14. So Talmud, Cantriel, and Griveth, you all take 7 points of cold damage. You hear behind you, Talmud, just a beep. And the cold air is just, this frosty air is wrapping all around all of you, kind of like just an instant, like almost like a blizzard wind blowing snow and ice. You feel the stinging ice of the sleet breath, but it kind of also is hitting the floor and swirling around, and you hear this sound of eep behind you, and then you hear this sort of almost crystalline thunk as Meepo's form completely frozen solid, tumbles over behind you. Meepo took more than triple his hit points and damage. Meepo is dead.
You cruel fucker.
So, the dragon has expended its breath, and one of your party is now down. Talmud, it is your turn. Meepo has just fallen frozen behind you. Lloyd, I am drinking those frozen tears.
What should we do, Talmud? What should we do?
Talmud kind of stares, looks over, kind of shielding himself from the breath weapon of this dragon, and kind of happens to turn his head directly towards Meepo and sees Meepo expire, freeze and then fall over. And Talmud is overcome with grief. Again, he hadn't fully recovered from learning what had happened during his rage, and now seeing this firsthand, right as he and Meepo were kind of developing a little bit of a rapport, he just completely folds. And he starts to tremble. He grits his teeth. You fucking worm! I'm going to enter rage again, and I'm going to charge the dragon.
All right.
Sorry, everybody.
Go for it.
All right. If
Makes
I can
total
close
sense.
the
Makes total
distance.
Yeah, you have enough movement to be able to charge. You also are back up to let me see if I can do this right. You are back up to 17 domain dice, as Chameleon Fam has, in Meepo's honor, Rip Meepo, donated 2 more domain dice.
Thank you. Also, as a player, I would like to tell everybody that Talmud is injured quite a bit. He's not going to pause and say any of that, so I definitely could use some healing out of character. But in character, Talmud's not slowing down. He is going to close, raising Gerta above his head, spittle coming out of his mouth and getting caught in his beard. I've got to spend a domain die. It strikes.
That's why Chameleon Fam buys them. They're for you, Talmud.
Don't forget the D4 also.
Yes, thank you. There we go. I think I'm going to hold on to the D4 because that is a 23 to hit.
That is going to hit the dragon wormling, Kelstrix.
Otherwise, I have to go home. All right. Let's see. Is 7 and 3 is 10, and plus 2 more is 12 points of bludgeoning.
There is a sound like breaking ice as you slam your ancestral maul Gerta into Kelstrix, connecting with the side of its head. You see pieces of shale-like ice flake away and spray out to the side in the room as the dragon's head recoils back and then snaps back forward towards you. You have not taken it down. And that's going to take us to Vi. Still drunk outside in the hall.
Yeah. She was tending this bugbear, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. Growling, sounds of attacking, and she just kind of stops, and she is going to look up at the bugbear to see his reaction. And she's going to look into the... Actually, she saw everything because they came out, right? And then...
Yeah, and you'd have a clear view into the room from where you're at. So, yeah, you pretty much saw everything that happened.
She's just in shock.
You would
just blinks.
You would see, looking at Bernal, the bugbear, as he has his head leaning slightly forward, and you just see this. He's got this almost like, if you've ever seen Full Metal Jacket, he has this Vincent D'Onofrio, that kind of just that look as he's he seems to be relishing in the dragon, what the dragon is doing to your friends.
She's going to run up to Cantriel, who is at the door. What the hell is going on?
Frack fucked it up again.
God damn it. We
I'm
need...
quite ready to say farewell to them, too.
Me too. We need to get them out of here.
Absolutely.
Get this door closed, because that bugbear, we're going to have something bad coming in from all fronts. So let's go.
Get up and bar the door. Yes, please.
Yeah. So I don't know if you would still allow her to have an action.
Yeah, you haven't taken an action. You've just moved and talked. Talking is free.
Okay. How close is Griveth?
Griveth is pretty much standing in the doorway, just this side of the door.
Yeah, I'm right next to the door.
Okay. And Talmud is further in?
Yeah, Talmud ran into the room and engaged with Calstrix.
She's going to pull Griveth out further away from the door. Do not go in there, Griveth.
Griveth. Griveth, do you resist at all?
We've got to save Talmud. What are you doing?
Let other people who aren't angry as you, mister, go in, because we all know that if you go in, we will have a dead dragon, and that is not what anyone wants here.
But it's either the dragon or us.
No,
Talmud
it doesn't have to be that. Just stay. No, back. And she's just going to try and...
Please whack him. Please.
She's going to try and just hold him with her strength.
What do you propose about our friend? We just leave him in there?
And she looks to Cantriel. Just get him out, please.
Okay.
Keep this one under control, and I'll try and get the other. I'm. Yes, fine.
All right,
yes.
All right. I will back off if you promise to get Talmud.
Yes. Yes.
All right, then Cantriel, it's your go. As
Right.
Vi seems to be. Vi is. I just picture her drunkenly trying to wrap her arms and hold Griveth in place with all of his armor and everything, and she's just like, "No, you're not going anywhere."
How far away is he from me?
He ran into the room to engage, so 15 feet.
Hmm.
And
This
he's
kid-
raging.
And he's raging.
And he's raging.
I'm going to Misty Step in front of him and push him as I run out of the room.
I love it.
Let's use that, shall we?
So, Talmud, Cantriel just suddenly materializes in front of you and begins pushing against you. Are you resisting her?
Hello, darling. Who's the bitch now? And she's just pushing him.
I love it.
Talk him down. Talk him down.
So yeah, whenever she first appears, Talmud actually kind of rears back with Gerta again, like almost like to go to strike her, and you see like a little bit of a flash of a different expression on his face that goes from like this searing anger to this kind of confused recognition. Move out of the way! I already told you, you're a pointy-eared bitch and you're always in the way. Move!
And you're a dense dwarf. Let's go or you're gonna be dead.
I'll die with honor today if I die at the hands
Listen,
of
Uncle Pooh, leave your nephew alone because I want to get your nephew out here and you can stay behind as far as I'm concerned.
You don't tell me what to do.
Oh, yes, I do.
Talmud! Talmud!
There's again kind of this shaking expression on his face. Aye, let's go, hurry.
And he says in Dwarvish, come back to us, come back to us.
So Cantriel, so Talmud, you're allowing Cantriel to sort of push you back. Because you misty stepped, you pretty much didn't use any of your movement.
That's why I did it.
So you are able to push him back. Are you resisting her at all, or are you going willingly? I mean, even though you're kind of letting her lead you, are you just turning around and running with her, or are you still kind of pushing against her?
Technically, like, I'm still in the middle of rage and everything, so I think that there is some resistance, unfortunately.
You are going to make it about 15 feet then. In the same way that Griveth was kind of impeded, pushing against the others. So you do make it to the door. It is the bugbear's turn. It is Griveth's turn.
All right. So Vi and I can hear the struggle going on, and I was trying to call to Talmud and to Dwarvish. I thought maybe that would break him out of his rage. So I turned to Vi real quick and like give her a look like I've got to do something. I have to do something. So so can I, is he like partway to the door?
They're at the door. They're just
they're at the door.
Not all the way through it yet.
Okay. So I go, then the dragon goes, right?
That is correct.
Damn, I don't have enough arms. So I kind of want to pull my friends like through the door, back out through the door, but we're kind of in the same situation, right? I mean, it could breathe on us or come out the door and get us, I guess. Will it fit through the door? I guess it would if it's in the room.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the room. It seems to have gone through the door to get in there.
Okay. So what do you guys think? I mean, I kind of want to pull you guys through the door, but I can't shut the door. Maybe I could kick it shut.
They're enough through, and everybody seems to be willingly moving away, that I would allow you to kind of sort of just give them a shove and shut the door.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Okay.
That's what I'll do.
So you're able to kind of shove them out of the way. You grab the door and slam it shut. First of all, I'm going to see.
Get away from the door.
I didn't get these out. I need a die for the dragon. No, that's a D12. Where's my ice die? I do have specifically a crystal clear set of dice that I wanted to use one of those. All right, I guess I will grab the first D20. Okay, that'll work. All right, that is a that is a 19 on the die with a +2 strength. As you slam the door shut, Griveth, the door shatters around you.
Can we re-roll?
Let's
Rewind
see.
fate. Retcon.
Let's see. That's why we have domain dice, as we are back at 15. So this one sticks. That is a 10 on the die. Griveth, you slam the door and you feel as something slams up against it. I think that he's going to make an attack against the door. A section of the door near the top. The whole door doesn't break apart, but at the top, you hear this sound of rending wood, and then as about 1/4 of the door at the top is ripped apart by Calstrix's jaw as he bites into it, or it bites into it. And it is now... I forget who... Oh, that's Meepo. Who is dead. No, Meepo was
In the
first.
chat for you too,
Nope,
Jake,
that was...
if that's easier to see.
What's that?
Friends.
I've been posting it in the chat, in our chat.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Talmud, thank you. That's much easier than my notes that I can barely read. So yes, Talmud.
Okay.
Friends, let us flee. We will leave the bugbear. The keeper of the dragon is a meal for the dragon. It will be sweet revenge.
Everybody, give me a perception check.
A 24.
20.
Got a 14.
You're muted, Scotty.
Darn it, my bane. 15.
All of you notice as you're saying this, Griveth, we'll leave the bugbear for him. As you kind of glance back, and Bernal the bugbear is nowhere to be seen. When Vi ran to help you all, she left him standing there. But Cantriel, you actually hear at the far end of this long hall with all these pillars and sconces and the haze, you remember that there are 3 doors along the north wall. You're at the first. There's a middle one and a far one. And you actually hear and can kind of see as that door is slammed shut so hard, it kind of and swings open about a foot. As that is probably the direction that Bernal headed out. So it's still your go, Talmud.
So yeah, Talmud was still kind of battling his own fight here, and in his anger, as the bugbear was mentioned, not Talmud, whatever, actually went over to Meepo and had picked him up by the tail and was brandishing him as a weapon with the intent of smashing him into the head of this bugbear. So when he turns around and it's no longer there, he's, "Where is he? Where's the damn bugbear?"
Does anybody say anything? Cantriel, you're the only one that really saw where he went.
She's just going to point.
Cantriel's pointing towards the northwest corner of the room.
Takes off running.
All right. If you double dash, you will get, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can actually get through the door. So you swing open the door the rest of the way, and you find yourself in a narrow 5-foot hallway, and you make it about 10 feet through the door, and you can see that it opens up into a little bit wider hallway that kind of zigzags off to your in front of you and to the left, or heads off about 20 feet to your right. But you have no idea which way you went, and that's kind of the end of what you can do. Are you still brandishing the frozen meepo?
Yes.
I love it. So that is then Vi, you're up next.
Vi is going to run away. She is going to start running after in the direction where Talmud was going.
If you double dash, you would be able to catch up to him.
She would. Yeah.
He's basically blocking the door. Because actually, I believe, Talmud, your movement's 25, correct? Or do you have bonus movement? Okay. So yeah, you would kind of catch up to him, and he's kind of standing there just kind of looking like...
Talmud, think about what you're going to do before you do it.
My name is not Talmud.
Oh, yes. Uncle...
Orlok.
Orlok.
Can you smell? Which way did he go? Where?
Just take a moment and think. And she's going to be trying to talk him down from going after this bugbear.
All right. That then takes us to Cantriel.
I'm going to be using Cure Wounds on myself. So at this point, I'm putting my hand on my chest and I'm taking a deep breath, and you think she's like trying to calm herself, but really she's just trying to be less squishy.
All right.
So yeah, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds. Oh, my phone fell asleep again. And that is, let me double check. A 1d8 plus, okay. So a d8 plus 3. Okay. All right. So it gives me 4 points back. At least that's something.
All right. And are you going to take any movement?
I am going to walk in the direction in which they just fled.
All right. So that will get you to about the middle of, just a little bit past the middle of this long hall. Then back to Griveth. Still kind of standing there at the door. The dragon's just bitten a piece of the door off. Everybody else is running after the bugbear. What are you going to do, Griveth?
I'm joining Chase, so get as far away from the dragon as possible and catch up to my friends. So you guys just hear that distinctive my chain, my chain jingling as I come up behind, and I'm just gonna basically take the rear guard.
This is my Foley.
Totally.
So you're gonna double dash?
Yeah, I'll do that.
So you run past Cantriel.
Oh no, I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna run past her.
Okay, so you just run regular movement, kind of coming up alongside Cantriel. With you no longer standing and blocking the door, there is this crashing sound as the door explodes outward into the hall, and this white dragon form, sort of its head elongated forward, its frosty wings stretched behind it, so it forms this sort of long, narrow dragon form, so it could fit through the door. it bursts through and sort of skitters into the room, sliding sideways, just kind of, and turning to face you and Cantriel in front of it. And it and you guys are just in its range, so I need a Constitution saving throw from Cantriel and Griveth. And I'm going to grab a couple more D8s here so I can roll these all at once.
I'm going to take a domain dice.
All right, there's another domain die, knocking you down to 14. So what are you
14.
Now it's a 21.
Oh, 14 for me.
It was actually a natural 22.
You both save, so you're only going to take half damage as I... What the hell's my other D8? That's weird. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to roll 5d8. So that is 8 and 7 is 15, 20, 23. So you're each, Griveth and Cantriel, as this hall, actually it would be 4, 2 on either side. The pillars that these sputtering torches in these sconces have been in, kind of filling this room with this haze, they go out. And if anybody were to look at the flames, you would see they didn't so much go out as for a moment the flame itself actually freezes and then sort of dissipates in the frost as this cold blizzard air rushes across you, washing you in this cold, and you take this frostbite damage. Are you both still standing?
How much do we take again?
11.
I am.
Griveth, next to you, Cantriel falters in her step, but doesn't drop. Let's see. That was the Kelstrix. Talmud, you're up. You have a path, a wide 10-foot hallway, either kind of taking a zigzag jog to the northwest or going to the east where it looks like it cuts. You can actually see that it kind of looks like it cuts straight back into the room.
Not being able to determine kind of where this bugbear went, kind of frustrated, Talmud looks around. Fine. I'm assuming he hears the smashing of the door and the breathing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have the open doorway, so you can hear pretty much everything that's happening. It's within 100 feet of you, so.
Okay. So yeah, Talmud is going to swing around and kind of look Vi up and down. Move out of the way, long strider. Move, girl! There's things going on down there I need to be a part of.
Do you let him past?
Muscle past her if you can.
Yeah.
Unless she actively tries to restrain you, you can absolutely move past her.
He'll do so. And as he takes a half step and he hands her the frozen meepo. Hold this. This one's better. And he picks up Gerta and like charges out of the hallway back to where Cantriel and Griveth are.
You would be able to make it to Cantriel and Griveth. You see that their hair is frozen. Their skin, Cantriel looks pretty, like her lips are pretty much turning blue. And she looks very pale. And their clothing is just covered in this frost as the dragon towers behind them as it appears to be trying to gather its breath again. What are you gonna do?
The first thing that Talmud does whenever he sees them, his eyes settle on Cantriel and he goes, were always cold. Now it serves you right. But he is going to grab her and drag her into the hallway where Vi is. If he has that much movement.
No, you used all your movement to get to them.
Then I am.
Well, actually, I take that back because it could be a dash. If you're not taking any action.
I am going to take the action of grabbing her and sliding her along the partially frozen floor.
Or do we need to fight it?
I mean, she looks like she's about to kick over. I'm gonna grab her and slide her along the floor towards the door. Just kind of grab a hold of her belt and the back of her armor or something, and like lay her down on her back and just.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're able to get her moved as long as she's not resisting you. She's not frozen solid.
She's also like about to drop dead, so there's no resistance.
All right. So then it is going to be Vi.
Vi has her hands clenched, eyes closed. She shakes her head once. No, just walk away, Vi. Just walk away. But she turns, despite of herself, and she begins to sprint towards the dragon. And all you hear is her, "Get them out of here!" And she jumps, and in mid-leap, horns spread from her head, and her limbs elongate into these large hooves. And this huge elk appears in midair. And the elk is going to headbutt the dragon.
That is so freaking cool. As Vi has just wild shaped for the first time. Go ahead and roll the attack. And I'm going to give you freaking advantage because awesome.
How far away? So I have this thing here called charge, where if I move straight toward a target and I hit with a ram attack, which is what I'm wanting to do, it must succeed on a strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
It's far enough. I mean, rule of cool is kind of taking over a little bit here. You're definitely crossing that area as you leap over everybody else and you hit the ground. You definitely have that as you land with this elk shape. You can get that 10 feet you need to charge and headbutt.
All right. Okay, so that it takes in. Okay. Let me just see if this hits first, because this will all be very. Ooh, I'm going to use domain die.
That's what they're there for. Yeah, let's see. Forward at 13. So.
Okay, so that's 18 to hit.
That is going to hit.
Sweet. So then that is going to do 3d6 damage. And it has to make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Okay, that's a 16 on its save.
Okay, so it does make the save, but it takes 13 points of damage. As Vi just rams into this dragon.
So you slam into the dragon which had kind of barely gotten its footing. The ground is already kind of iced over from it expelling its frost breath. You strike into it, and you hear this kind of as it expels air, and you send it skittering backwards, and it sort of spins out, falling kind of its feet kicking out from under it. It spins, slams against one of the dragon pillars, and you hear the sound of breaking stone, and there's a jagged remnant of the top of the pillar still hanging from the ceiling as the rest of it shatters into the room as the dragon crashes into it, and for the moment is lying motionless on the ground. That was freaking badass. Seeing this, Cantriel,
Yes.
what are you doing?
That's a very good question.
As Talmud is dragging you out of the room.
I'm going to probably should use my healing potion that I have on hand.
So you're going to quickly quaff a potion.
Yes.
And I'm stealing this from Critical Role and Matt, that potions are bonus actions.
Oh, that's gonna make things interesting then.
Yep, I like that.
Okay.
I know they started
so
doing that in their campaign, so it's a good
it's a
rule.
D6. What is it again?
It's a standard healing potion, so it's 2d4 plus 2.
Thank you. Time to do the maths.
That's a nice rule.
It's the
That's
first
gonna
time I've had a chance to
8.
employ it.
All right, so that bumps me back up a little bit. Still kind of squishy, but I'm not fully dead. And then I'm going to cast Sleep upon it.
What's the range? It's 60
90
feet,
feet.
isn't it? Is it 60?
90.
Oh, 90.
90.
Okay. So is that a saving throw?
That's what I'm quickly reading through because I didn't think I was going to be able to use this.
Yeah, I don't recall, and I don't.
You roll a certain number of dice, and if it's the number.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's 5d8. It's how many hit points of the creatures the spell can affect.
Excellent. Fantastic. I just while you're doing that, I just want to shout out the chat. It's so hard to not pay attention because following Meepo's death, there was a string of Meepo rhymes that were amazing. And live chat, and that was on the YouTube chat. So live replay will be active on the video, so people can go back and enjoy that forever, because that was fun. The chat is on fire tonight.
It's 24. 24.
What is it? What does the spell look like? What does Cantriel do to cast the sleep spell?
Well, at this point, because I'm a little bit too weak to fully sing full throttle, I'm just gonna hum and kind of like wave my hands, and there's gonna be like this pulsating warm light coming from her hands, and it's gonna trail along the ground. But as it gets closer to the dragon, it turns almost to like this sand-like fog, and it wraps around its head and lulls it to sleep.
You, as this sort of wraps around its head, you don't see any physical reaction as the dragon had just sort of slid down to the ground, and then you hear as your sleep spell was very effective. The dragon sleeps tonight.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the dragon sleeps tonight.
All right. I was trying to come up with some kind of I was trying to turn a Weemawap into something using Meepo's name, but I can't. I can't music. So, excellent. As of right now, you are out of combat because the dragon is asleep. How long does the dragon stay asleep if undisturbed?
It just says until someone shakes it awake, I think. No, that can't be right. Falls unconscious until the spell ends. The sleeper takes damage. Okay, so it's going to last for a minute.
All right, so you've got a minute to decide what you want to do. You got a sleeping dragon. You know that Bernal, the bugbear, took off kind of in the direction that Talmud was dragging you. Somebody in chat, just let me know if it looks like we're lagging at all. Stream health seems okay, but I've seen a couple points where it flashes red and we've dropped a couple frames along the way. So just give me a heads up if it looks like we're freezing up or anything. The important thing is that the audio keeps coming through.
Talmud, unless somebody stops him, is going to run over to the dragon.
Jeremy, your volume is really low right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're just coming in a little bit on the quiet side.
Is this any better?
A little bit.
Okay. Unless somebody stops him, Talmud is going to rush over to the dragon.
Vi would try and just block his way.
What are you doing?
Now, I was trying to read. I don't think I can talk when I'm in my...
No.
Yeah. You would just see Vi kind of snort. I imagine the room is very cold, and you can see the breath plumes coming from the elk. And just snorts and just motions her head over back to where Cantriel and Griveth are.
Griveth turns away and says, I know as a tactical decision the dragon should die, but I can't do it. And I kind of look at Talmud and then look at, like, you can do it. Like, basically, you know, if you want to do it, you know, I know
I can.
but I turn away. I can't do it.
I can end this now. Move out of the way, you cloven deft beast.
Now Vi would just shake her head, not moving.
Ah!
I mean, unless you want to push her.
How badly do you want to get to this dragon, Talmud?
Bad.
Cantriel, what do you think?
I think egos need to be put aside and we need to get out of here, is what I think.
The dragon will chase us. We need to dispense with the danger. Do something.
Talmud,
I cannot do something.
Talmud, if you are going to attempt to bypass Vi, it's either going to be an athletics check to probably an athletics check to try to dodge around her. And if you're going to try to stop him, that would be an opposed athletics check by.
All right.
Or an attack if you want to attack him to try to stop him.
Of course, now I roll high. It's a 22 on my athletics.
I am going to use inspiration.
All right, I'm going to.
I got a 3.
Dinner party drama.
Right. I minimized my monitor windows. That should take some of the strain off the CPU. I just saw in the chat that looks like there's a little bit of a video lag going on. It just keeps pinging with a little bit stuttery. Hopefully, we're kind of wrapping up anyway for this session, so hopefully it'll hold. So how did you guys do on your opposed checks?
So, not only has Vi not wild shaped for a very long time, so it's a little strange being on 4 legs, but now you are dealing with a drunk elk. So you easily push this huge elk aside. Because I got a 2.
All right, Talmud.
I mostly like your legs like splaying out because it's icy or whatever.
It's like Bambi on the ice, and
Oh my god. So raging Talmud kind of jukes past this elk running around her, kind of drops Goethe next to it. He's going to pick up the dragon's mouth, one jaw in each hand, and he's going to rend them apart with all of his might.
You do so. The dragon has so few hit points, and it's asleep, that I'm not going to make you roll for that. As there is, again, this sound of shattering ice as you pick it up and you rip, just unhinge its jaw and snap it, and the snoring sound. For a moment, you see one icy blue eye. As the eye wakes up, it stares at you with an intensity. And as you snap its jaw wide, the eye rolls back in its head. And Calstrix, the white dragon wormling, dies by your hand, Talmud. And I think we're going to end it right there. I would like to kind of extend it a little bit, but it looks like the stream is really struggling. And this was one hell of an RP stream. And I really don't want to tack like a little extra stuff on the end of it. This was, this is what I needed. This did not go anywhere that I thought it would go. But for me, I'm always ready to roll, to just roll with it, roll with the punches. And, there was just a lot from the get-go. This was just top notch from all of the players, all of the characters. I mean, we see that every week from you guys. Fantastic role play. But I just love the way you guys role play out these scenarios and stay in character. It's just phenomenal. And I've been waiting, just like I was waiting for Talmud to finally rage. I've been waiting for Vi to finally wild shape, and that was totally badass. So I absolutely loved that as well. Cantriel, I thought you were going to get dropped. I'm glad you didn't. I loved so much that you sang Puff the Magic Dragon. In the back of my mind, I was like, what dragon song is out of there? Yep, there's Puff the Magic Dragon. And Griveth just still kind of getting hold of his rage as he's trying to deal with this influx of power. Still seems to be struggling with that. And you guys had again, we touched on this a little bit. And I know at one point, I don't know if he's still here, but I believe Steven from Castle Mac was here on one of his accounts. I have the windows closed to preserve stream health, but I know he's actually run the Sunless Citadel on his channel. So I've taken some liberties with the character, with some of the characterizations, and some other things happening. So don't be surprised if you don't recognize certain things or
Yeah, he's in the Twitch chat.
Character. Yeah, I see him now. Yeah, I absolutely loved. I caught some of their stream when they ran it. So yeah, I definitely after the week I've had, this was just what I needed. Some dice therapy, some role play therapy, playing D&D with some friends, and a lot of friends. Thank you so much to all of you in the chat. Of course, to our friend Chameleon Fam, keeping Talmud and friends flush with domain dice, as well as the couple of subscriptions that we picked up on Twitch along the way, that earned you a few more. I just love it. This game, the way you guys interact, and we kind of interact with the audience, and this was, for me, was just a wonderful session. Real quick, I'm going to plug a couple things, and then I'm going to let you guys each kind of say an outro and your final thoughts before we get out of here. I mentioned at the top of the stream, I think I still have the link in the clipboard. I'm going to drop it. Yep, I'm going to drop it in the chats. The Mini Terrain Domain Patreon was officially launched this week. The first tier, one of the first tier benefits is a weekly. Every Monday, I will be releasing a blog or a vlog. It's probably going to alternate, but the first one is up there, free for everybody. Yeah, check it out. See if there's any tiers you like, and if you want to consider supporting Mini Terrain Domain through Patreon, your support is used to further enhance. Full transparency, each tier has a list of there's some goals that are funding based for what I intend to do with that patronage that comes in, starting with basic upgrades to prevent things like the stream starting to crap out, all the way up to being able to travel to cons and meet people where they're at. So please take a look at it. No obligation, just check it out. Another way is just to hit that follow button over on Twitch, or the subscribe button on YouTube, and hit that little bell icon to be notified when we go live, because we've got Thursdays, we've got the Sunless Citadel. Sunday nights, returning this Sunday with some fun new changes. We've got Tomb of Annihilation, Cult of Personality returns, where Megan is one of the players. On Mondays, we've got our All That Glitters with both Megan, myself, and V as players, with Mike the Piper as the DM of that game, and also our friend Dwight, the big bearded nerd, is a player in that game as well. The Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign, as well as numerous one-shots, play tests. If you look above our heads, we've got, or no, not above our heads in this one, down below, like right here, is my Twitter handle. Everybody has their, no, you guys don't have your Twitter handles. But their names are their Twitter handles. It just so happens in this one. So at theDMsCraft, at the Crafting Muse, at Dice on Ice, and at Jeremy Get Your Ass in Gear and get a Twitter. Because Erasmus Expeditions is not on Twitter. Do follow all of their YouTube channels, which are in the video description. The links to all of the stuff is there. That's where it was. So yeah, that's my plug for MTD Jake. We're going to go in reverse order. Scotty, tell us about you, where we can find you, and any final thoughts on this session.
All right, guys. Like I said at the beginning of the thing, I'm DM Scotty, and I have a channel called theDMsCraft. I like to make terrain and stuff for your D&D games and make it just that much more fun. And but I also like to play Theater of the Mind, like we're doing here. So, but the sessions have been great. It's like you really kind of don't know what's going to happen. It's just the characters are are evolving, and they're definitely a little damaged, and it's like you don't know what's going to happen, but it's really fun. And I like how we're not playing like, it's not like meta, like we're not like playing oh, this character, we're going to stand here and do this and do that. It's like we're really, I feel everybody's really role playing their character, and we're not doing the optimal thing for the dungeon party to be doing.
No optimization, no maxing going on here.
No, not at all. So yeah, I just the highlights, I think we all agree with Megan wild shaping. That was amazing. That was so cool. And Talmud having the rage fit, and arguing with Vi, that was a lot of fun too.
Yes.
And That was fun to watch. So thanks again, guys, for being such great players. And I love this group. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And real quick before we go to Megan, I know I saw a couple of comments in the chat about awarding inspiration for that elk change. In a sense, that kind of happened within the turn because I gave her advantage on the roll and I extended the rule of cool to allow you to close that distance, because that was way outside your ability to make the distance to it without using your action for sprint. But that was so hella cool that I had to allow it. So, yeah. So that's why I didn't award inspiration, because it was kind of rolled into how it turned out. So, Megan.
Hello, I am Megan. I'm one half of Dice on Ice. And yeah, I totally echo all the sentiments that have been said. I absolutely love it when characters don't act to make they're people. They make mistakes. They make decisions that other people don't agree with, and I love it when characters stick to that and they just seem so real. So, and that's definitely with all of these players, and so that's just so cool to see and so cool to play in. So yeah, thanks.
And we ran the Griveth promo at the beginning, and you plugged it as well. But definitely head over to drivethrurpg.com and look up Griveth, the Ravaged Wastelands of Griveth, the Dice on Ice. My book is buried, or I'd hold my copy up as well. Amazing setting, and at some point in the future, I plan to run a mini campaign in that setting here on the channel as well. So definitely go there and check that out. Next up, Jeremy.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody. I am Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, the Erasmus Expeditions. I do live plays, a little bit of crafting videos, and talking about RPGs, things of that nature. I have a game tomorrow night that I'm running. It is a Halo-themed game. It is using the mecha hack put out by Absolute Tabletop. Stop by, check it out. I am also running session 2 of a brand new campaign that I just started. A Dungeons & Dragons game that is called Beneath the Banner's Shadow. It is Arthurian. I'm really, really excited about getting back to that one. Our first session was really, really tense and very exciting. So, speaking of exciting, this group is fantastic. I look forward to this every week. I don't get to play barbarians who rage loudly and maybe not so proudly. So it's an absolute pleasure. And being able to explore like what entering a rage would really look like and really mean, and how a character could be terrified of that in themselves is really interesting to explore. So thank you guys for letting me do that and make terrible decisions and going along with it and not getting offended. So thank you.
All right, and last but not least is V.
It's a me, V. I do. So I am V. I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse, and the name kind of says it. It's a channel you can figure out how you can learn how to make things and craft things and paint things for your tabletop games. You can also find me over on Facebook and also on Twitter. I do have an Instagram account as well if you want to see pictures and that type of thing. One little thing I do want to plug before everyone goes is that Scotty and I are going to be at MACE. It is a smaller convention down in Charlotte, North Carolina. And he and I, as well as Lilac, are going to be there along with a couple other great personalities from the crafting community. So if you are in the area, do be sure to go to justusproductions.com, I believe is the website link, and you can get more information from that. But we will be there for the whole thing. You'll get to come and meet us. We'll be doing some fun things, and there's like a game with chairs available for people to buy for auction type of thing. So definitely make sure you get over there and check it out.
And of course, you want to check out the down in the description on YouTube, and if you drop it in there real quick in the chat, the Terror Muffins link to purchase t-shirts and other swag, where the profits are going to benefit local shelters for domestic violence. I don't have mine on tonight. Megan is wearing hers, the Terror Muffins. It's a very awesome logo designed by Capri Creations for the Terror Muffins themselves. So, who I've had the privilege of having 2 of them on the channel now.
And the shirts are very nice.
Yes, and the shirts are very nice. All right, so do you have your marching orders? Go follow these people on YouTube, follow their Twitters, harass Jeremy however you can to set up a Twitter to be one of us. But seriously, to the 4 of you, I look forward to this game every week. I love all the games that I play in, and each one is a unique dynamic. This one hits that sweet spot, as I say every week, of serious RP, a little bit of that kind of beer and pretzels feel, and a little bit of theater, because we have such an amazing audience that I don't understand how we're in the last 20 minutes of this and the view count is going up, not down. The amount of people watching us. But to you in the chat, to those of you that are here every week, to those of you that are here for other games or that are heading over to these people, to their streams when they're running things, and you're kind of spreading out and showing the love there, know that we genuinely appreciate each and every one of you, whether you're here every week or this is your first time here. We love you. It means so much that you're here and so actively involved in the stream, and just make this that much more enjoyable and dynamic of a game. So be sure to tune in for the other games that I mentioned. But if not, you can find us right back here next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for more Sunless Citadel. Until then, we're going to sign off just like we do every week, and you can join me if you want with a big old metadata.